Hello Fantasy Faithfuls and welcome to Season 3, Episode 3 of CSD Head-2-Head. Today I'm comparing two really interesting running backs in Austin Ekeler and Tevin Coleman. Without further ado, let's dig in.
Rivers almost lost control, instead recovers, gives it to Ekeler, and Ekeler's on the move. 20, 10, touchdown!
Starting off, we're looking at Ekeler's rushing and receiving. Ekeler leans heavily on the left side of the field, and especially those runs outside the left end. He rarely runs up the middle and even less to the right side of the field. Not uncommon at all for a change of pace guy. It is unfortunate for fantasy points though, as backs that lean more on the right side tend to score more points than the ones who lean on the left. But having more runs to the outside and especially left works great for Ekeler. He's very productive on those runs. I just would have liked some more runs to the right side of the field to be all in on him since his yards per carry are so high there, but sometimes you can't have it all. 6.0 to the left end, 5.3 with the left guard, and 5.5 up the middle are still extremely good numbers, even though that 10.4 would have been nice. In the receiving aspect of his game, he's not what you would call a classical running back, as we've seen in the last couple of episodes. He is targeted all across the field almost evenly, with only a 6% difference between the most and the least targeted zone. His catch rates are right above league average in the left and middle zone, while being just below to the right. Again, very even numbers with 78, 73, and 71%. His touchdown rate last year was 2.8%, 15th highest in the league, just 0.5% below league average, so I don't expect any big changes here. Back to his receiving, and we see that he is one of the absolute best pass catching backs in the league. Not only does he catch better than most, he outgains the league average by 1.5 or more yards in each zone. Fantastic numbers.
Never had a 100-yard game in the NFL. Here is Coleman, end zone, touchdown.
Let's take a look at Tevin Coleman's rushing and his receiving. Coleman rarely runs straight up the middle in the A-gap, but it's not like he's predictable with his rushing patterns to any other lane. No, he can run just about everywhere at any time. He's used to carry the ball anywhere on the field, and it is a positive as he's changing team, so we can utilize this a little bit more than he was last year with the Falcons. It is also very good that he doesn't run that much up the middle, as he is terrible at it. 2.7 yards per carry. It is one of the lowest in the entire league. He's got some really nice yardage numbers to the outside lanes, but lacks the skill to gain tough yards up the middle, which in my book hinders him from being a lead back. Even comparing him to someone like Ekeler, it's 2.7 in the A-gap versus Ekeler's 5.5. Coleman, in comparison again to Ekeler, is just like the majority of running backs. He gets targeted most to the left, while seeing almost no targets over the middle with only 15%. But with those middle targets he saw last year, he was 100% in his catch rate, while the right and left were right below league average, the zones we need to focus on, as this is where he usually targeted, even with Shanahan in the past. His touchdown rate last year was 2.4%, 39th highest in the league, but the year he scored most touchdowns was with Shanahan, so I expect this to be around 3.3%. His yards per catch in the left zone is what keeps him viable in the passing game. If it wasn't for that, I would have said stop throwing it to him, but 10.8 yards per catch is 3.2 yards above the league average. Other than that, average at best.
Austin Ekeler breaks a tackle, gets a first down, still going. Austin Ekeler at the 10-5, he'll score. Touchdown Chargers.
Now let's look at how they perform in some different situations. Ekeler is way more productive at home than he is away. That is a good thing for week 1, but going forward, a bit scary, while Coleman also is better at home, but more even. Ekeler usually scores more against good rush defenses, strange but good against the Colts in week 1, while Coleman is better against bad run defenses, which also is good for him in weeks 1 and 2. In the final category, they're extremely even, both of them. They almost make no difference if they're playing teams with winning or losing records. Ekeler's best situation is playing at home versus an above 500 record team with a good run defense. Coleman's best situation is playing at home versus an above 500 record team with a bad run defense. I would like to take a second to remind you to hit that like button, leave a comment what you think about this video, and subscribe to the channel. I love every interaction I have with y'all, and every little bit helps me put out even more content. In the Redzone Analysis, we see that Ekeler had 17 red zone carries in 2018 and Coleman had 17 as well, so they couldn't be more even, quoting Chandler Bing. With those carries, Ekeler scored 3 touchdowns while Coleman only 1. With that in mind, both have somewhat low success rates, so even with 48% of the red zone carries holding out in Los Angeles and a potential RB1 spot in San Francisco being open for Coleman, he would have had 30% of the red zone carries. We can't expect them to be gangbusters in this category. I will give the edge to Ekeler as he has less competition for those goal line carries. Looking at their September schedule with the first 4 games, Ekeler has a very difficult schedule the first 3 weeks with the Colts, Lions, and Texans. Teams that gave up very few points to running backs last year before facing a terrible Dolphins team. Compare that to Coleman, who faces some of the easiest ones early on with the Bucs in week 1, followed by the Bengals in week 2. We see 3.5 points different in points to running backs, so Coleman definitely has an edge in the first couple of weeks.
Complete Matt Ryan, Tevin Coleman in for a Falcon touchdown.
Comparing their numbers, we have a ceiling win for Coleman with over 3 points. Not the highest of ceiling though, even if Coleman was the lead back for most of 2018. Coleman takes home the 1-game floor by 2 points. Week in and week out, he is the safer pick between the two historically. Without Gordon, this will change drastically moving forward. The risk of them not reaching double-digit fantasy points on any given week is in favor of Coleman for a trifecta, 58.1% compared to Ekeler's 73.7%. To summarize, let's look at their pros and cons. And for Ekeler, he has less running back competition, amazing receiving patterns, a really nice left end lane, touchdown opportunity, but a low ceiling and low floor. For Coleman, he has a very high ceiling, he has lower risk of reaching double-digit points, easier schedule, but he has some touchdown issues, and he has Matt Breida on his team. Based on all of this, I give both of them the draft grade of B. After comparing all these factors, Ekeler ends up being the guy that I want for the entire season. He has the better running patterns, receiving, more touchdown upside, and if Gordon is out, more opportunities. However, for week 1, I want Tevin Coleman. His matchup is great, and I think he is the right guy to start the season with. I had Ekeler as a high-risk, high-reward player in my article this week, and I think Coleman is the better pick. So these players are both good, but from different angles. Don't forget to check out the Patreon page if you want exclusive content and get a personal score prediction done for your team every week.
Ekeler in first to go. Ekeler touchdown Chargers.
Right, you can feel the air just sucked out of this building. And now Coleman inside the 30, and he will take it the distance for a touchdown.
Hello Fantasy Faithful, I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to check out more of them right here and here. In case you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a beat.